I've been slacking on the videos. Trust me, not because I want to be, but because of something pretty important. I guess you could say going on. You can see part of it behind me. My wife Megan and I, which you guys, if you've been watching for very long, you've probably seen her in a handful of videos. We bought this place 3 years ago, just a few months before we got married in October. So last month, 3 years ago last month. And for the last 3 years, roughly, we've been saving, we've been building, we've been slowly making progress on, I guess, what you could call a dream home. We bought this property here, and the very first thing I did was put a feeder and a trail camera up, because that's just the kind of guy that I am. Tons of deer out here, right? Having tons of fun. Just watching the deer on your own place. Really, really neat. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. It's quiet, other than the occasional barking dogs that we get to listen to. But most of the time, extremely quiet, right? Well, I built the feeder within I'd say the first couple of months of us owning this place. It had some really nice deer showing up, hunted it a little bit. Then we rolled on out of deer season that year, 3 years ago, and we hit the ground running in the spring. We put our driveway in. I actually filmed that video and posted it. Once I had a driveway where I could get my truck in and out of this place without tearing it up driving through the bar ditch, and I had electricity, I thought, you know what, it's time to start fencing. So my dad, myself, Megan was a huge help, and then just friends and family across the board, we started building fence, and a couple thousand T-posts and several thousand feet of field fence and several thousand feet of barbed wire later, and approximately 6 months just working here and there as we could in between planning a wedding, having our wedding, getting married, and then 3 months later finding out we were pregnant and going to have our first baby, on top of working both of us full-time jobs. She's a teacher, I'm an industrial electrician in the water and wastewater business, and then me still trying to keep up with YouTube videos. We were juggling everything and still are. I say all that to say we made progress. We made slow progress, but we sit now currently where we are today. I have loads of pictures and clips and different things. I want to back up just a little bit before present day, before I show you guys what I'm fixing to show you. Back in the winter this year, I started building my high fence pens, and I've been around exotics and whitetail and guided for, gosh, years and years and years, like over 10 years now, or close to. I've been around exotics since I was, 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that, since I was really young. I've come from a hunting and fishing family, so I've always had a passion for animals and raising exotics. And so when we finally had our own place big enough, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna build some high fence pens in the back, and we're gonna raise some exotics. And so back in the winter, I start working on the high fence pens. I'm gonna do like roughly three and a half acres in the back of our place and pens. I've started on that, and then the project of the house has taken precedence, and that's okay. I'm tired of living in a camper. So the pens are on hold, but I was working on that project through the winter, and then in the spring the spring of this year, we started on the house. The house pad went in, my brother-in-law did that. So I changed my focus, but as we got into the summer and we're working and doing things and trying to get stuff ready, and between juggling all that is life, it was back in the end of June, 1st of July, I guess, I finally told Megan, I was like, look, the place is fenced. We paid to have our well drilled. We have water, we have electricity, we have a fence. And from that point moving forward, I was like, every day that I don't have exotics in this place of some kind is every day that, we're losing out on potential money. I've also been around cattle the majority of my life. I'm sure we'll end up with a few head in here if my wife has anything to do with it after this house is finished. But anyway, I prefer the deer, I prefer the exotics over cattle and that sort of thing. And so in the summer, early part of summer, late June, early July, something like that, I told Megan, I was like, I'm gonna go pick up some black buck. We did 4-foot field fence with a strand of barbed wire, so I'm just like somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 some odd inches on this fence. You'd think I'd remember with the thousands of T-posts that we drove. But anyway, I think it was like 52.5-inch tall fence, whatever. It's not important. And for those of you that didn't know it, you can keep black buck behind the low fence. So I told Megan, I was like, I'm gonna hook up to my trailer and I'm headed west. I ended up meeting up with some folks about an hour east of San Angelo, pulled in, loaded my black buck into the trailer, cut him a check and hit the road. It was wet all across the state at this point in time. I made it was roughly 6 hours there and back, in total 6 hours. I made the trip. I got home about 10 o'clock that evening. Gate in between you and everything else. They'll come out.
Okay, be careful.
Are you recording?
Yeah, be careful. Welcome to your new home.
Alright, I'm let the girls go.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Welcome home. Have fun. We have a creek in the middle and a feeder in the back.
Where'd the buck go?
He's off to the left somewhere. Enjoy your stay.
And here we go. Something that I've anticipated, waited for, been so excited about for many years. My goal, and when Megan and I got married, is I was like, look, if we're gonna spend the money, of course we have to have a house to live in, right? And so it's like, if we're gonna spend the money, let's do it this way, where we find an affordable piece of property in a great area. We build majority of the house ourselves and we'll save $100,000+. And so that's what we did. She believed in me, and I mean, we're making some serious progress. I mean, with the help of friends and family, I can't thank all of them enough. But anyway, so that was the plan. That was the goal. That we started saving for that, and now here we are. And I want to play some clips. Of course, I'm rolling a bunch of different footage and pictures and things that we've kind of documented over the last couple of years since we bought this place, all the things that we've done. But the day that I kicked the black buck off the trailer was super special for me, because not only do I love hunting and fishing and the outdoors and being a hunting and fishing guide, and part-time, I'm super passionate about being in the outdoors, but I'm also super passionate about conservation and raising these animals and managing herds and that sort of thing, and having a lot of knowledge in it. And so kicking these black buck off of my trailer that I converted from a horse trailer when I used to rope and have horses and that sort of thing, I converted this old horse trailer into a deer trailer. And so all the hard work that went into converting that horse trailer into a deer trailer, and then going and picking up my first load of black buck and kicking them out in here was a really surreal feeling for me. It was really special, and it just kind of sounds cliche and kind of sounds dumb to say, like, this is what I've always dreamed about, because, like, really it's not that crazy, you know. Like, at the same time, though, it's something that Megan and I have worked hard towards to achieve this, and so it was really special for me. So anyway, fast forward, it is now November and about 11 p.m. I'm sitting down taking a break, but we are full blown into this house build and have almost all of our exterior walls framed. And so I'll give you guys a good view of that. Oh. Floor plan's really not that important per se, or majority of you probably don't really care about the floor plan, but here's the house. Here's what I've been working on. Here's why I haven't posted a video in 35, 40 days. This is what we've been working on. Of course, there's our front door, doors, windows, and studs. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So here's my back porch, I guess I should say our back porch. And there's the cozy camper that we're living in right over there. We moved into it in May of last year, so we're like a year and a half or so, give or take, now living in that thing. Back porch. But this is where I've spent the last 35 days until midnight, working on the house here. It was basically like opening weekend of bow season. A friend of mine came over and started on the steel. They got all the red iron welded up. I can weld. I really wanted to put the red iron up, but I just didn't have the time or the manpower really to do that. But I can wood frame some walls. And so a lot of this being, and I'd say more than a lot, I'd say like 85-90% of all this working every single day in the evenings. My dad and my uncle, Megan, has actually helped me put up a couple of walls. She actually helped me put the very first window in the house. So that was kind of a cool and special moment for us. But my father-in-law has been a huge help for me as well. But I have been 7 days a week, at least 6 to 8 hours a day after working my full-time job, coming home working until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and just framing and getting after it. And so I've hunted 3 times all season since bow season's opened at the end of September, I guess it was. I have bow hunted, I've been in the stand 3 times, which is so unlike me. Normally I've got at least 20 to 25 sits at this point in time. The weather's cooling off. It's November. These deer are rutting. We've got bucks chasing does through the yard and the back of just all over our property. Megan actually almost ended up being late to work a couple of mornings ago, earlier this week, because she saw a huge buck chasing a doe, and I was frantically searching for binoculars in the camper and finally found him in my truck, and was watching this buck and looked down and realized what time it was and said, I gotta go to work. And so, man, the rut is going on and I'm chomping at the bit to get back in the stand. I got to get these exterior walls finished, and then a friend of mine's coming back to put all the R panel up, and once I get this place dried in, I can slow down just a little bit. I can stop wearing myself out so bad. And we're truly blessed. We're very fortunate with the friends and the family that we have and what the Lord's blessed us with. And so I wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do this for, well, since we broke ground back in the late spring, I guess it was. We had a super wet spring, and majority of the summer was super wet too, so that kind of slowed things down, delayed things a little bit. We poured concrete in, I believe it was in September. All the red iron was up a few weeks later, and then I've been wood framing for about 3 weeks now. We got all the windows and doors in. I ordered the stain for the floor. I have an office in this house, which is actually going to sit right over there, and that area is where my office is going to be. And I'm so pumped about that because I have a place to sit down and edit and film videos, do podcasts, get back to what I am extremely passionate about and love to do, and that is film YouTube videos, not just for you guys, but for me also. My little girl's getting big. She's 19 months old as of just last week, I guess. And so I say all this to say that we are like shoulders deep, waist deep, whatever you want to call it, and like this super busy and fun time and stage of our life. You know, mid-20s. All of our friends have been getting married and having babies, and so it's like baby showers and weddings and gender reveals and the whole shebang. So it's been quite the challenge, and that doesn't even hold a candle to what it's really been like. But the best way to describe it's just been quite the challenge to juggle, keep up with all these things, a work life, a family life, of having friends, and all the family that we have, because our families are pretty big, and keeping up with all the nephews and that sort of thing. And so I have been slacking on my videos, and man, I'm ready to get back to it. Like I said, I've got a big wall opening up there. That one, got to fill that one in, and a couple more on the other side of the house, and the exterior walls will be done. And then we'll be mostly dried in with a roof over our head and our panel on the sidewalls in the next 2 weeks. And so we're pumped about that. And then I can get the floor stained. And then I'm going to start putting our rock wainscot up on the front of the house. I've already started on it and gotten a lot of progress done with that. So I'm doing, me and my dad, my uncle, Megan, you know, us, I keep saying it's me and family. We're getting a lot of this stuff done. We're doing a lot of this stuff and saving ourselves some money, and it's fun. Yeah, it really is. I enjoy it so much, but I have also just really missed picking up a camera and filming and going hunting and all that good stuff. So I wanted to pop in with a little bit of an update. I do have some things that are in the editing stage, but I just haven't been able to sit down in front of a computer because I got to get this house dried in. And if I don't, I'm going to end up with a lot of crooked studs that get wet from rain and that sort of thing. And so once we get dried in, things will totally change. We can slow down a little bit, and we can start framing interior walls after I get the floor stained. And then being an electrician, I know I am capable of wiring a home, and so get to start doing that. Again, got some other friends coming out to do the plumbing, but we're doing the majority of it and enjoying the ride. And like I said, in the next couple weeks, we get this thing dried in, I'm gonna go back to my hunting and filming, especially now that it's getting dark at 6 p.m. I can be back here at my place, or I can hunt in the backyard. But if I'm hunting my local lease, I can be back here in about 30 minutes, and then I can get a good, 5-6 hours in the evening to work and get after it. But it's so cool to step out here on the back porch, be running the chop saw, running the table saw, framing nailer, or doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and look out on 50 yards behind the house out in the yard, and there's the black buck. And I actually just heard them a minute ago. Yeah, there they are. That's my buck right there. There's a few does. There's a black buck doe. There's a black buck doe right there. Literally just right here off the back porch. It's one of the coolest and funnest things. And then I've got a fawn out there. So there was 3 does and a buck and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a fawn, our first fawn right there. And then a couple of these girls right here just hanging on by thread. Actually, there's my fawn right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's my fawn. So it's just so cool to step out on the back porch and watch the black buck, and then there'll be, give or take, 4 to 6 whitetail usually mixed in with them. They'll feed up as close as, you know, my stack of 2x4s right there. So, and here comes a doe right here, actually. So pretty, so fun to watch and look at, and he's busy, if you know what I mean. The black buck and I have a good relationship, as in, so long as I don't get too far off the porch, they don't get too mad at me. I can stand right there, I can talk, I can run power tools. They'll just hang out, they'll eat protein. Of course, when we first dumped them off in here, they came off of a pretty big place out in West Texas. They were not nearly as calm as they are now, but now they'll hang out, they'll watch me. I take feed out every evening, and I've got a water trough out there 50 yards behind the house. I take the feed bucket, go out there with a feed bucket full of protein. They'll kind of be like, hey man, and they'll ease off about 100 yards away. I'll shake it and I'll turn my back and they'll come run. So it's fun to talk to them, to watch them, see the fawns, watch the progress of the does that are fixing to have their fawns here any day now. But anyway, enough about the black buck, just a little life update. Here's what I've been up to. And so I know basically all of you will be very understanding and forgiving for why I haven't been posting and why I've been MIA, but you know, here it is. I got a pretty good excuse, but give me a couple more weeks, and of course I'm gonna be throwing a few videos here, trying to get back in the swing of things. Hopefully YouTube's algorithm will be as forgiving as you guys are. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you staying here, staying subscribed while we're headstrong into a huge project. And so Megan is, she's actually been hunting a couple of times since opening weekend of rifle season. She's trying to get a video filmed on her own like she did for me a couple seasons ago. She's trying to do that, kind of help me as far as videos go. And she's actually headed out to the deer lease again, our big lease out in West Texas. She's headed out this weekend. I'm staying back to continue taking small bites at an enormous meal, what feels like an enormous meal. Then I'm gonna try to get some hunts in at my local lease, because once I get these exterior walls finished, I'll be able to take a little bit of a breather while the guys are doing some metal work. So anyway, looking forward to hopefully planting my rear end in a tripod or a tree stand of some sort this weekend, even if it is just one sit. Plenty of deer coming to the feeders, even if it's a slick head. Man, I'm letting an arrow fly. It's been too long. I've got some pigs that are trickling finally after months at my local place. Finally got some pigs showing back up. They must have rooted through all the oats and ate all the acorns, and now they decided that they're hungry for corn and protein again. But looking forward to slinging some arrows. Thank you guys again for being patient with me and not getting mad for being MIA. So anyway, here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If y'all want to see some more of the build, the progress, I'll probably do another little progress update. Our moving goal is spring break of next year, so I'm cutting it kind of close. But you know what, things are moving extremely quick once we get past these exterior walls. It's been quite the pain framing the same wall 3 times in between the purlins. So instead of just building one wall and standing it, we're building the same wall 3 times, just with different stud lengths. But this thing, I'm pretty sure could withstand just about any tornado. It is strong. But Megan's taking lots of pictures. I'm taking lots of pictures and videos. And whether you like it or not, I'll probably end up doing another house update video here in another couple weeks, I guess. This is a hunting channel, I know, but I have been in construction basically all my life. So has my dad, my uncle, and lots of other of my family members. And so this is right up my alley as well. And I want to document the whole thing as I can, just for my memory banks, and I'll share it with you guys because I think it's really neat. So just to touch into the personal life, let you guys see a little glimpse of it. We're truly blessed, and I'm thankful to just be where we're at right now, and just life in general. Life is good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and the next video that you guys are going to see will be a hunting video, I promise. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and I promise to never go another 35 or 40 days without posting a video again. Y'all are awesome. I'll see you in just a few days.